Welcome to a special weekly edition. We are recording with a couple fellows here at Bengals and Brews. Derek and I are joined by Bengals captain. Good to see you, Cap. He's going to pretend he can't hear me. And we are joined by former Bengals kicker, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, number 17, Shayne Graham.
Let's go, Shayne.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining us. How are we doing this evening, Shayne?
I'm doing well. I have a feeling it's going to get even better.
I think so too. And hopefully this one, we won't have any technical difficulties.
You just jinxed it.
Yeah, right?
No. Hey, you always got to admit it and go from it. See, Shayne's pulling a cap now. So.
He's acting like he's froze.
All right, Shayne, I know you have started, you're the CEO of this, right? This is your company, the Elite Winning Solutions.
Yes.
So I thought that maybe that would be something you'd want to talk about first here before we break into pure chaos like our show normally does.
So essentially, it's like a boutique consulting company where it focuses on special teams in football, but it can actually end up turning into other things for performance-based business or sports, where I do seminars, I bring in guest speakers. Do things like that. I've had a webinar type thing where I had Adam Vinatieri, Sam Cook, and Patrick Manley, guys that are known as being some of the best punter, kicker, snappers in the history of the NFL. And with these guys on this, I had a sports psychologist as the moderator. So these guys just had a conversation for over an hour talking about what worked for them, what hardships they went through, things like that. Then coaches, I work with coaches to consult with them on their special teams, on their specialists. If it's the lower level, like high school, middle school, things like that, then obviously I can help them more on their overall special team schemes and return games and coverages and drills and all that kind of stuff. And the computer drawing skills and all the things that go into the logistics of putting together practice and scouting your opponent and building a game plan. Once you get up into the colleges, I won't work so much with those coaches because I will be working with high school athletes, and you can't really cross that bridge because of NCAA recruiting issues and things like that. And then when it comes to like NFL teams, I can maybe be brought in on a temporary basis to work with like a rookie kicker or rookie specialist or anything along those lines. And then I'll also be doing, things where I go to like these facilities that train guys in the off seasons, and these guys take it very serious, and they go to these places that are like super high tech, the greatest facilities and nutrition and all this kind of stuff. But they're always teaching either football skills or bench 40, vertical, like all those kind of things that can possibly get you noticed at the combine. But then I go and I do drills for all the guys that are third round draft pick or later that are going to have to make the team on kickoff coverage, punt return, kickoff return, punt protection, all those kind of things that all these guys have to do to give themselves value to make the team. Because let's be honest, if you're drafted in the 5th round, unless you're a specialist, you're probably not drafted to be a starter. You're drafted to be a developed guy or maybe find a role somewhere through an injury or something down the road. But if you don't have special teams value, you may or may not make the team. Because if you're the 6th or 7th receiver on that roster on game one, you're probably not going to be on that roster, or you're probably not going to travel one way or the other. So if you give value on special teams, so I try to put these drills together and these different things to help these guys hit the ground running when they get to training camp. So it's kind of everything from working with teams, coaches, players to private lessons. I mean, across the board. I don't just want to be a kicking guru. That's not really what I want to do. It's more along the side. With kicking, it's actually going to be more the mental preparation and mental performance aspect of it as well.
Yeah,
Now,
that's awesome. And I wanted to at least mention down here for anybody that tunes into this once we put it out and stuff. We got contact information for Shayne, his Twitter account here at Shayne Graham 17 on Twitter. And then also his email if you're interested in learning more about his training sessions and any more about what he was just talking about. It's Elite Winning Solutions, and his email is coming up here because I don't remember it off the top of my head. Shayne at elitewinningsolutions.com. I was trying to draw that out long enough that I could just read it.
That was a tough one to remember, Dale. Shayne.
Yeah, shut up.
Shayne.
Come on. I just got home from work. Cut
There's
me
a
some
Y
slack.
in there. You got to remember the Y.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I was on that.
I love that just because, for Bengals fans, we all know Darren Simmons gets talked about for head coaching opportunities around circles, every year. People forget about how important special teams are. We've seen it make an enormous impact in games, but, it sounds like in that role, in that room, you're kind of in every part of the game.
Yeah.
So you can help create head coaches one day. And, especially with helping the players make the team, that's a breeding ground for the next generation of players. Yeah. We find out they're more valuable now that they've had how many reps on special teams and bam, they're in the game. They're the receiver catching the touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's great that you're branching out holistically there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at so there's two versions of like an example, and I do presentations to teams and to players about the importance of special teams that they may not notice when they're in college, because when you're in college, let's be honest, if you're a draftable guy in college, you're probably one of your team's best players, and there's a good chance that your team may or may not want to take a risk of an injury or fatigue or whatever. There's also studies that show that the best teams in college do use their best players on special teams the most. That's a proven fact. But for how many of those guys are going to be first and second round draft picks, it's a small number. But when you look at, let's just say, Terrell Davis. Does anybody know the story of Terrell Davis? Hall of Fame running back.
I don't think I do.
Denver Broncos.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. So he goes into Denver, and he's like fourth or fifth on the depth chart at running back. He goes in during the preseason game and just absolutely lights somebody up on a kickoff. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Hey, let's give the rook a chance. Give him some reps. Let him get some film out so he can kind of prove himself." And before you know it, like starting running back, and then goes into playing the Hall of Fame. Didn't have to play special teams very much, but that's where he got his opportunity. And then on the opposite side of that, you've got a Matthew Slater in New England, who the only significant stats he had in college was that he had, 1 year he had 3 returns for touchdowns in a season, and then he had 25 tackles on special teams, and I think he had 2 carries as a wide receiver. Didn't even have any receptions on that I could find in his stats. 2 carries, one was for 0 yards and one was for like -6 yards or something. So, but he's made over $25 million and made multiple Pro Bowls because he has gone to the NFL, quote unquote, as a wide receiver, but he has been purely special teams and been a big leader on that team, helped them win Super Bowls, and he's had 1 reception in his entire career at wide receiver.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that was one thing I was going to talk about. I was looking because I can't remember his name. The guy we drafted in the 3rd round, the safety, or it wasn't the 3rd round. It was like
5th round. Tyson Anderson from Toledo that the Bengals drafted this year. He played like every unit of special teams, and I think like he's a solid safety, but his amount of special team snaps and what they think they can get from him in that aspect is why they were so high on him.
And I can promise you that Darren had a big hand in getting that guy there.
I guarantee it.
But yeah, I was just going to say, they said he had like 900 special team snaps last year for Toledo, and
I wanted to know. I was going to ask you how important that was.
Well, when guys are being evaluated, I can tell you when I was at Michigan State, when I was at Florida, when I was at Central Michigan, I got calls from a lot of NFL special teams coordinators asking about certain players. And, at Central Michigan, it was hard to really get a lot of your draftable players on special teams because if they're that good, then you probably got to save them. Mm-hmm. Michigan State, we had Joe Bocci, and he was a guy that played on special teams until we kicked him out. Like, we were like, listen, we can't. You've got a sore knee. You've got a sore elbow. Like
on the Bengals now also.
Yeah. And he was one of my favorite players when I was at Michigan State. And, he was just a phenomenal athlete, a hard worker, super selfless, just a great guy. And, he just, as soon as I found out that he signed there, I hit up Darren and I was like, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this guy's like connected with you. He's like, oh yeah, he's already texted me. Well, I had just been texting Joe and said, hey, Joe, make Darren your best friend and you need to go get Shadow.
Yeah. Now,
we appreciate that.
I was going to say he had some really important snaps in the playoff run, if I remember correctly. I was trying to.
No, Joe got hurt for us, but in the regular season he was coming in, had to step in when there was other injuries, and he was playing really well before he got injured. So I think he's going to stick around here. I mean, the kid's a hell of a player and a hard worker, and when you bring that special teams value, that's what can help you stick on these teams.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny when you see him in college, and I think he was a Mike linebacker, but, I think the athletic ability that he had wasn't necessarily true to like most college Mike linebackers because they're known for being not quite as agile and as explosive as other outside linebackers can be. But he was just such a phenomenal athlete that I think he could, he could really be a benefit to the team, not just on special teams.
Absolutely. And let's start a drinking game since we are also the Brews portion of this podcast. First off, what are we drinking? I've got a Miller Lite.
I've got coffee. I mean,
you're going to work.
I got to go to work here in a little bit, so I'm going to stick with the
I'm
coffee.
Between.
You guys are killing. You guys are both going to make me cry right now.
I'm not sure. I need to choose here. Which one should I start with?
Oh God.
Ooh.
Look at him.
I don't know.
Hold on. Well, I got to take a drink for that. That is a subtle flex. That is a subtle flex. Not solid, Derek. Come on. Get our own tags right.
No, that one's solid. I know our whole thing is subtle flex, but there's nothing subtle about that.
I had to do it when I watched Clark. When the clip you showed me with Clark, I had to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to try to make that a thing going forward. But I thought maybe this drinking game could be if we do any shout-outs throughout the time.
Yeah,
we'll take a drink. Because I want to start off by shouting out Matt, who is Bengals and Bourbon on Twitter, who I believe was talking to you, Shane, and mentioned us. So I want to shout out Matt, good friend of all ours. Hey, shout out Matt. We appreciate you, man.
Cheers to Matt.
Matt is a wizard. The stuff that he finds, the relationships he's built to find stuff. Like I work with a guy. He is a higher level gentleman with a company, and his background on all of our meetings is his bourbon wall, and it's I would guess between $60,000 and $80,000 worth of bourbon. And I'm not exaggerating. He's got stuff that's one off. He has shaken hands from master distillers and whatever, and he cultivated these relationships too. He's got stuff I have never seen.
Hey, shout out that guy.
Yes, 100%.
Matt is like the target version of him. Matt can find stuff that he hasn't found. I got that. Matt helped me get this guy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and
it disappears with your background, son. It's like
there.
Angel's Envy, is it 10 years? Is that right?
Yeah, the 10-year.
Yeah.
Just don't go over your left shoulder. You'll cover the best part.
Exactly. I had to include that.
Subtle flex.
So yeah, he was actually offering me money for that, and that's how I got that. And it was thanks to Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt will text me and Cap all the time and be like, "Hey, I'm here and I've got this. Do you guys want it?" And it's a lot of times I got to tell him no, because if I told him yes every single time, my wife would be mad at me.
Yeah, you'd be kicked out of the house if you bought everything that Matt was able to get you.
Well, and in fact, Matt just told me he's giving me a bottle of this. This is Willet.
Oh, there you go.
Matt.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he's like, I just want to see you guys. Like, you know,
Yep.
I've only met him like a couple times. You guys have met him more, but
Yep.
I mean, he's just like, I want to see good people succeed. Like, and I'm like,
Exactly. You know, you could
Appreciate that,
tell
man.
he's just one of those genuinely good dudes. To the point where, you know, I work in cybersecurity, so I'm always talking about risk, and, you know, warning flags go up like, is he for? No, he's for real.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just legitimately a great dude.
you get alarmed by like how good of a dude he is.
Exactly. I'm like, wait
You're
a
like,
minute.
I'm not used
What's
to
he in
this.
But going into the bourbon a little bit, let's talk about your guys' favorite pours that you've had so far. Shayne, what and Cap will do you two, because Dale definitely probably doesn't know what we're talking about, but
Nope. I'll just sit here and drink my Miller Lite, guys.
But Shayne, we'll start with you. What's your favorite pour?
You know, I'm fairly new in bourbon. I avoided darker liquors early on in my drinking because, you know, I had to, pick and choose when I drank, because, you know, I had to turn it off at certain times because I had to be, you know, my top performance, things like that. And, you know, I had to get up early and do things. Even though I don't get hangovers at all. My wife did not believe me when we were dating, and then all of a sudden she started realizing, like, there's no way you don't have one tomorrow.
Hey, that is a subtle flex right there.
Even
Okay, so
Shayne,
yeah.
even right now, you still don't get hangovers.
To this day, like, I promise you, like, if I get hammered and I drink some more with my wife, I have friends come over, I will wake up at 6 a.m. and I will be hit the ground running. I do not have any lingering effects.
Hold on, me marks off. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? No, you've already got it. You've already got it.
When I hit 40, it was over. I am chugging Gatorade and Advil the night before to make sure I can function tomorrow morning.
You know,
I'm jealous.
I remember the night of my last hangover, and it was in Cincinnati. I mean, I can tell the story if you want.
Yeah, let's go into it.
Okay, so there was a car show in town. I think it was called Cavalcade or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I was real close with a bunch of guys that ran a car shop, Spade Creations, up in northern Cincinnati. So we had gone to it, and then there was like this party at some, you know, douchey club or something like downtown. So we all go to it.
There's a lot of those.
So I had basically decided, like, hey, I'm going to have a late night after party at my house. So me and a couple of guys, we all kind of chipped in. We got some like limos and stuff, and we're pouring people into these limos to like come back to the house and party. And on the way home, I had to have the car I was in pull over so I could throw up. And so that just shows you the level I was on at that point. Well, then I'm a big rally guy, so I was able to finish the night, had a great night. Everything was fun. Woke up the next morning riding four-wheelers around at 6 a.m. And went to bed at 5. Woke up the next morning at 7 and was riding four-wheelers around the neighborhood with the neighborhood kids, and there were still people at the house and just had a good old time. Well, then that very next night, we had more shenanigans to do for that weekend, and had another night about the same level. Woke up the next morning and, I'm sorry, out of order. Story out of order. Woke up the next morning, felt like crap. You know, had stuff to do, clean the house up, all that. I'm like, you know, your head's swimming and all that stuff. So then the next night, had a very similar night happen. And then I just woke up in the morning, and it was a Sunday, and my neighbors are out like getting their paper before they go to church or something. And I'm out on a four-wheeler. I may or may not have had just a towel on. And pull up to my neighbor, and they're like, saw you had a couple parties this weekend. Oh, thanks for inviting me. And I was like, I was more worried about you calling the cops than, but most of my neighbors were 10, 15 years older than me in this neighborhood. So, so I just thought, man, this is crazy. I don't have a hangover. And then, whatever the next time it was that I ended up drinking enough to where I felt like I should probably get one, I just started noticing one after one, I feel fine. And then after a couple years, I started kind of bragging about it because I'm like, I don't get hangovers. And then just expecting any day now, the spider bite's going to wear off, right? And
right.
it just kept happening. I met my wife about 5 years ago, and we're dating. First time we really kind of drank with her family, and it's like a long day and night type thing out on the lake. And they're like, well, I guess we'll see everybody around 10 or 11, when the adults get up. And, I guess I was considering myself one of the kids. But
me too. I always do.
Yeah. So I get up in the morning at 6, and I, have coffee, and I'm sitting out with my uncle or uncle-in-law, or soon to be uncle-in-law in a few years at the time. But he's like, you don't get hangovers? I'm like, I told y'all last night I don't get hangovers. They're like, well, nobody believes you. So I basically had to prove over time, I do not get hangovers.
That was the moment your in-laws found out your name was actually Clark Kent, right?
Yeah, right. Well, and I always joke, I wasted my superhuman power on not getting hangovers. I could have been faster than a speeding bullet or bulletproof or whatever.
Imagine the amount of money that you would have made in the NFL instead of being a kicker if you had that speed.
Well, I was never known for my speed.
But if your superpower wasn't not getting hangovers, and
you know what, just like with Clark Kent or Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
True.
It
That's
still
true.
sounds like an elite winning solution to me.
There it is.
I like what you did there. Shout out Elite Winning Solutions.
I'll get my empty coffee cup here to cheers to that one. But I asked my wife if she'd pour me a glass, but I don't think she's going to because she knows I got to go to work. But
yeah,
one thing Clark talked about was how the best thing about being a specialist, which for a kicker is probably a little harder. I'm sure McPherson can't do it. And when you were playing, you probably couldn't. But how about now? Do you get recognized a lot? Clark's I go out and people ask me to take pictures of them.
Well, and so Clark has kind of evolved into a different story because, one, Clark is not shy by any means.
Yeah.
We all know Clark's just not shy.
Yeah, I know that now. I didn't.
Okay, well,
I've known for sure.
But there's been this evolution of, long snappers. No news is good news. So if no one hears about the long snapper, he's doing his job. He's doing a good job. And I'd say probably for the longest time, it probably was that way. But, with the help of social media, Clark growing out the
beautiful
mullet, looking like the F&A guy from Office Space, I think that image probably brought a little more. And then you look at the success that happened along this past year, probably made it exponential with, when he came out and said, I think we need to change it to Shooter instead of Money Mac and all that kind of stuff. I think that started raising a little bit more. Now, it could have been happening before that. And because I was coaching, I didn't really have the wherewithal to probably notice it. But I started seeing a lot more presence of people recognizing him on social media when that started rolling down. And then when the team got more success, and then when the field goal unit started playing a little bit more success into the season, you start getting a little bit more of the persona coming out. And that's just something that I noticed.
But he said no one recognized him, but I think it's just because he changes his facial hair every 5 minutes. It must grow so fast that he can do that.
There's definitely people, especially these people, that from the last year that I noticed, and I was saying this yesterday on a podcast I was on, that throughout this past season, it was refreshing for me to actually be a fan, because one, when Evan got drafted there, I had kind of been not necessarily pushing, but exposing Darren to Evan for a long time before the draft.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think
I was
Darren
getting ready to show this real quick. I don't know. This is
Yes.
the picture
Yeah.
everybody was talking
Hold
about.
on. Shout out Shayne Graham for the Evan McPherson story and help.
I think Darren would have found him either way. But so when I started watching, I'm fairly new to Twitter. I've only been on for like a couple of years or so when I got into coaching. And I followed a few people that were Bengals fans and this and that. But I don't know. For some reason, I just started kind of interacting a little bit more and paying more attention. And, whether it was the captain or Bengalorian or Jimmy or whoever, just seeing all this interaction. And I started interacting with guys, and then guys would DM me, and screw it, I'll message them back. And I started building little relationships with people, and it was fun because I never really had a chance to do that. And then when I started kind of seeing, and the head coach got fired where I was at Florida, I started, thinking, well, maybe I'll just start my own business. It'll give me a little more free time, do a little bit more like enjoying of life. I'm 45 years old. I don't need to be working 20 hours a day coaching. No. So, my wife and I bought a house in Michigan and decided to start a business. She works remotely for her company. And it's just like, it was fun to actually have like playoff watch parties at the house and not have to work and watch the Bengals games and just really get into it. I mean, I bought more gear in the last, this past year because I always got it for free. I never had to buy it, but I ended up buying like Bengal gear and clothes and stuff for my wife and just like, this is fun. Like, and I never really had a chance to do that before, but now it's like, I don't know how many of my followers or how many I follow, but there's a lot of like the Bengals community that I've just noticed that I never noticed before.
Derek, do you need to get off here, buddy?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm getting ready to go here in a little bit, but I definitely wanted to say, hey, here you go. My lovely assistant brought it for me, so cheers to you guys.
Hey, don't work too hard, man.
Okay. She said she's going to go get my son is at school right now. Today I tried to talk before I got that drink down.
That didn't work well. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I was just going to say that was one thing I was going to mention. We've got our Bengals and Brews t-shirts, so we'll have to definitely send you one. Do you want the like Cap over here is going to get the lovely tank top to show off his guns and everything. I see you guys with some big old cannon arms. Do you want a t-shirt or a tank top or what do you want?
Shit, I'll take a tank top.
All right.
He's going to rock the tank. That's usually your flex,
Yeah.
Well, I used to be in pretty good shape, and even when I left the Bengals, I went through a couple years where I would gain weight and lose it, gain weight and lose it. But towards the end of my career, I actually started lifting much harder and differently in training. I was stronger at the end of my career in my late 30s than I was in my 20s. So if there was a tank top to be had, I was wearing it. So I've just added a little bit of cushion to everything now.
To the gun show. To the gun show.
That's what I always tell my wife. I said, I have abs. They're just protected.
Yeah. Bubble wrap.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're talking about getting back into the Bengals a little more. And I watched a little bit of you on there with Iceman the other day. So you're talking about maybe tailgating some. We tailgate with Bomb Squad in Lot 1.
Okay.
There's so many tailgates, and they're all awesome. No, Yep. So, but that's where like all of us guys know each other, and Matt, we usually tailgate there. And so I was thinking we should meet up.
Absolutely.
Wherever at a tailgate, hang out. And
bourbon.
Yes.
How recognizable are you? Number one, now, like if you go out somewhere, does anybody recognize you?
Okay.
No, I mean, we would because I got a thing I want to do. I want to do some live stuff for this show. at tailgates?
Okay, so here's a funny story. I am coaching at Michigan State, and Darren Simmons tells me that I can come in and kind of spend some time with him during one of the mini camps. Maybe he's a rookie mini camp or something a couple of years ago. And I'm in the cafeteria, like sitting down with Darren and a couple of the other coaches. And one of the coaches comes up to us that was there. Well, I'm not going to say who this is, but he was there the whole time I was with Cincinnati. And he walks up and he goes to sit down at the table and he looks over and he goes, "Oh, hey, I'm Coach." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm Shayne. I've known you for like 15 years. And he was like, "Oh my God." Well, so I was always clean shaven. Like when people look at pictures of me when my time at Cincinnati, I was always clean shaven. Maybe I had a little goatee, but I could grow hair right here because my soft spot had just grown in and some other things were just starting to drop. So
I was going to ask you though, would you be down for this? Because I want to like get like a beer can and make it as a microphone and walk around just interviewing just random people at the tailgate. Would you be down to walk around with us and I'll ask people like, "Hey, do you know who this is?" And see how many Bengals fans, if they recognize you or not.
We'll get Shayne to ask the Bengals fans, who their favorite past Bengals kicker is, and
all I need is for somebody to be like, "Oh, that effing."
See, that's the beauty of it.
All right, I'm
like
good.
no one remembers anything bad. You're a legend.
They do. Yes, they do.
Some people do, man. Some people live to hate.
Those people don't go to games. Those people are only on Twitter.
But honestly, probably the paranoia in me also thought it was worse than maybe what it really was. But, I knew that there were people that were extremely upset over certain kicks that I missed and this, that, and the other. But, when you see things in an egocentric manner, like we all do, it's human nature, your perception of what other people think of you can be heightened or lowered based on your give a shit. Well, I always had a lot of give a shit. And when, certain things would go bad, you would just hear the one person, say some negative shit or murmur when you walk past. And it's just, I noticed it. And I probably thought about it too much. And, I got past it. But like now, when I got back into this world of Bengal Twitter and all that, I was just openly honest with someone that would say something negative. I'd be like, "Hey, you know what?" And I wouldn't I would just be open out in front and tweet and say, "You're right. It sucked. I really wish I'd have made that. And I really felt bad about it. But I'm really pulling and hoping that other people don't make the mistakes that I made," or blah, blah, blah. And then usually they're like, "Oh, well, it really wasn't all that bad anyway. So you're still
most of the time, once you give somebody an interaction, they're like, "Oh man, I was being a dickhead," and they actually like realize it when they get called out. Like
that was one of the things that struck me. You had either commented or quote tweeted something I said, and basically said, looking back, I wish things had gone a little different. And that type of honesty. Number one, it's difficult. We all know it's difficult, but to throw it out there like, oh my goodness, I had forgotten, but it really seems like every kicker is a dark night. You're just waiting until you're the villain. You kick long enough, eventually it's going to come. And I understand that. I actually have a unique story about Nugent. We won one of the charity auctions for a Free Store Food Bank special teams dinner.
Yeah.
So we go to Palomino. Palomino's no longer around.
Yeah.
Nugent, Huber, and Clark Harris couldn't make it. I'll never forget that. I'm sure that's a great excuse. But hey, Clark, Chipotle, that's fine with me. Anyway, we ended up talking about that because I'll sit second row. And I love yelling encouragement to the guys. And Nugent and Huber are always so zoned in. It's shocking to me. And, Mike said, well, fans aren't always nice. So you learn to just tune it out completely to the point where you don't hear friends and family.
Yeah.
You know, how hard is that? Because you're there, you're spotlight, you're on the field. It's just you and that football. How hard is it? I feel like, you know, with your company, some of the psychology of the game,
Yeah.
you help.
So basically what you learn to do, and some people are better than others at this, is to compartmentalize and to be able to create your own like transit moment. So for me, whenever it was something that like maybe maybe it's loud, maybe there's things going on, maybe it's an important moment or whatever, I could create music in my head that's all I heard. And whether the crowd was dead silent or loud, you don't hear it because I just heard this music in my head. You know, when you're on the sidelines, I knew when to turn it on and off when I was on the sideline because you can't waste all your mental energy on being just locked in like the whole time. You know, like you've got to be able to relax and maybe joke and have a laugh on the sideline with your teammates, or, you know, somebody does something funny on the field or whatever. Like you got to be able to look over at Kevin or Clark or something and smile and enjoy play a sport for a living, you know? So knowing when and where to like turn that on and off. Was there a trigger word? Is there a mannerism, an action, like something you do? Is it the moment your foot steps over the white line? Is it the moment you put your helmet on? Is it the moment you strap your chin strap? Like for everybody, it's different, but there has to be a trigger. Have you ever seen Over the Top?
The arm wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone. You guys have never seen that?
No. Come on.
Oh,
now I gotta watch it.
Guys. So I'm talking to.
Do I look like I've seen anything about arm wrestling?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm talking.
Dude, that was such a good movie. Like I watched that so many times growing up. Like I've seen it more than once.
It's a great movie. So me and Dale are going to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
What was his trigger to him getting in his zone?
He had to turn the hat backwards.
That was his trigger.
He turned the hat backwards, and he was just an animal after that.
Yeah. So that's my point. Is there's always something. Oh shit.
You look like you're from France now.
Oh man.
I look like a chef.
Oh gosh.
There you go.
You look like a Russian sailor with that thing.
I was going to ask Shayne a question and then step out and check on my dog outside real quick.
Okay.
If you know what I'm saying. There.
He's already.
I always break the freaking seal. It's always me. I'm going to just come up with random excuses, but so
just, you know what? I have Amazon. Okay. It's a little, yeah,
I'm gonna have to invest in something. I'll just be sitting here peeing.
I have one. The one training camp that we had. The open family night. You know, the first thing from COVID. I almost didn't make it. I had paid, like I was crying. I'd never been that close, and I said never again. So I have something in my truck just in case.
I got a real easy solution for you.
Just let it flow.
Gatorade bottle.
I was going to say you're from the chest up anyway, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
And I can mute my mic, and you guys would never even know.
Yeah. Other than that stupid grin.
I'd be sitting here going, "Oh."
You just have to back your chair up, maybe lean forward a little bit.
I think I'll just honestly always be honest, or I'll make up lies. Like, man, my dog's barking. You guys hear that? Oh.
Now they've talked.
He was barking earlier. He really was.
We've seen like special teamers sneaking off to little booths and stuff during games. Like, was that a problem?
Everyone.
Is that something you all had to handle?
Evan had to pee so much on the sideline of Florida, he would just pull the trainer's tent open and go pee in it.
There you go.
Now
we know something about Evan.
It was sanitary. It was, but it's not just
him.
This is what a lot of players do. It was sanitary, so it wasn't like he was like peeing on the side of the tent or writing his name on the wall or anything.
Well, I mean, he was 13 years old at the time, so I mean,
shooter, literally shooter,
shooter.
So is that the nickname you like better? Shooter or
I mean, you know
Money
what?
Mac? Or...
I had a bunch of nicknames. I don't really feel like I had the luxury to pick my nickname. Like, hey, call me this. So I think people took it wrong when everyone was saying like Money Mac and this and that and the other. Someone asked him what he liked, and he's like, "Well, I think Money Mac sounds cool." I think a lot of people thought that was him trying to say that's the name I want to go by.
Yeah,
That's not how it was. He wasn't being like that. But then Clark came out and said, "No, it's got to be Shooter."
yeah,
and I it's stuck because everybody on Twitter got passed around very quickly, and then every time he scored, everyone's doing
That's
that.
always fun.
And,
well, Clark said they did it just to screw with him. It was like a preseason game, and he's like, Kevin, he's like, he's a rookie, let's screw with him, and then it was just took off. And
yeah, because you can tell like the whole fact that they do it, they're doing it to be like funny. It's not like this is our ritual, like
right,
all that crap. It's just like it's funny because you can even see like when Clark and Kevin like they go get in like this really goofy stance and they're like beside of him, and you can tell it's like they're being funny. They're not like this is our thing. It's like they're being funny.
Yeah. Somebody told me today, one of my buddies, that you're a big car and shoe collection guy. Is that true? Like,
I wouldn't say so. Okay, when I was at the University of Florida, we got a lot of free Jordan stuff. And then I kind of used some of my connections through Nike that I had when I played. And so I could sometimes get some hard to get stuff or rarer stuff. And then there were a few times where I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get something that not everybody else on the coaching staff or team or whatever has. So I might go to, eBay or somewhere and make sure something was verified and maybe get a couple pair. But you know what? As soon as I left Florida, all the ones that were like Florida colors, sold them to somebody that was a shoe collector and
made bank.
So, like it wasn't like I collect them and I've got them like lined up like
right. Some people.
If I carried this into storage and showed you like some of the Jordan shoes that I have, they're like in storage bags, like on a shelf. They're not like displayed or whatever.
Yeah, some people have their own rooms just for shoes.
Yeah, like, no. I wore mine. Like the ones I had, I wore them. I didn't like get them to like display or keep for 20 years.
Well, so that one was bullshit. Going to call that guy and call him a liar.
And then you said cars, right?
Yeah. That's what
no, I was a car enthusiast.
Okay.
And I had some really nice cars, but I feel like I have a nice SUV now, and my wife has a nice smaller SUV. But I do not collect cars. There was a time where I had like a pretty flashy sports car, maybe I had a couple other flashy cars, but I outgrew that. That was called being 28 with more money than you knew what to do with, and not understanding long-term growth value of what that money can do for you versus spending it on frivolous shit.
Yeah.
And I figured it out after a few years, like, hey, I'm really wasting a lot of money on this. And, I had a Lamborghini, I had a Jaguars, had Bentleys. I had stupid shit.
Yeah, that's, I think, what he was talking about because he said something about a Jaguar at some point.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I look back on it and it's embarrassing, but yet I lived, I had fun.
YOLO.
I was going to say, you wasn't on that Chad Johnson savings plan?
That look you just got. All right, guys. I'm going to go check on my dog real quick so you guys ask a couple questions. Because I know these two are going to be leaving, so we may just be me and you talking for here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What was your impression of Chad Johnson? Was he you was with him for the majority of your career, right?
My whole time in Cincinnati, he was with me. We got along great. We didn't necessarily like call each other up and say, hey, let's go get dinner. We weren't like on that level.
Yeah.
But like Chad didn't really drink. like I saw him carrying around a bottle one time of beer, but he was like, yeah, I just carry it and I don't drink from it. So I don't judge one way or the other. I don't know if that was because you wanted to have that perception or if because you really didn't. But yet, also for someone who ate McDonald's all day long, I don't know that it was really for nutrition. So, but we were just different. He was kind of I'm so physically gifted and talented, and then he could work hard, but we were just different personalities. I'm a very obsessive compulsive, like everything's got to be in a certain type of order and detail. And, that just,
traits I want in my kicker.
What's that?
Yeah.
Traits I want in my kicker. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we weren't kindred spirits to like hang out every other day. Now, I did have guys on the team that were like guys I was like that with, but like Frosty Rucker was like my best friend, best man at my wedding. Like,
okay,
to this day, we talk all the time. Like, get together for vacations and stuff. Like, it's just we were compatible. I was compatible with, with Kevin and with Kyle Larson and Brad St. Louis and and so Dahani Jones and so many other guys. I could go down the list forever. Scott Kustra was someone that I still keep in touch with and always really liked, and Rich Bram and, just Willie Anderson. There were just different guys.
Yeah.
But, Chad was an ultra superstar. And, we just, the few times we interacted out in public, we didn't like set each other up for that,
Yep. Now we had to bring in our third co-host to the night, the guy that you share your tequila taste with over there, Travis. What's going on, T?
There we go.
Nice.
Pleasure to meet you, Cap. Pleasure to meet you.
Heck yeah.
I love the beer.
You got two of them.
Dude, I saw the clear, so I wanted to try the clear. I saw that at the local Kroger, and I was like, I really want to buy that. And I was like, I just don't know if it packs a punch like this. This guy's a menace to society.
It's good.
In here 4 seconds, Shayne.
That's a man.
It's good. You want me? Oh, you wanted to try it. I thought you.
Yeah, please, Shayne. That would be great.
All right, now that the show's about to get off the rails, I'm gonna have to hop off here and get to work. But you guys have a wonderful night, and Shayne, it was great.
Yeah, like you said. Yeah, no, hey, I got a question.
That was me.
I got to play music.
It's a running bit, so I did that to him.
Oh, you did. How did you come across Clase Azul? Because I got a funny story about it, actually.
So I've been places where I just saw it on the shelf and, maybe ordered a drink of it or whatever. I think I went to a tequila bar somewhere and they just had like entire walls full of like all kinds of stuff. And I just thought the bottles looked cool. And I had it before, so that was the second time. And then if you could go to like a Total Wine or like one of those big, huge like liquor stores or whatever, they always see those like behind the glass type stuff. Right. You're just like, I'll take that one.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that was because I just came across that like a year ago. I went to my first Hispanic wedding, and so after it, I'm seeing like 10 of these in rotation. People are walking around with these bottles, and I'm like, that's a beautiful vase to get the alcohol in. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and they're like,
it's a great vessel.
I was like, how do they have all the same vases? And they go, no, that's where the tequila comes in. And I was like, where are you getting this from? I was like, that thing is a masterpiece. And he's like, they were like, here, you can only have, they gave me like that much. And I'm like, why do I only get this much? I was like, what? They're like, oh, it's a pretty expensive bottle. And I looked it up and I was like, I saw the list of all the different bottles and creations.
There's like a black one, a gold one.
Dude, there's some beautiful ones. I looked up, actually, there's an interview they had, I think it was with 2 Chainz, I believe. 2 Chainz does those interviews of like exotic stuff randomly, like really expensive, like weed and drinks and such. They made him one, but they tested out a bottle that was like $20,000 for the bottle. And I'm like this is out of, I paid $150 for that. And I still brag about it. I'm like, yeah, I paid $150 for that bottle. Like, I'm rich, whatever.
For a super expensive bottle like that, that thing better do a couple things behind closed doors on demand.
I tell you what, it did for me. I noticed that you had Casa as well on that.
Yeah, Casamigos.
I had a horrible time with that on Cinco de Mayo. Horrible. We had homemade margaritas. First time I ever did that, and I think I'm gonna stick to the restaurant ones.
Or just get the pre-mixed ones or whatever.
I had pre-mixed.
Do you do it on the rocks or do you blend it?
So we had it on one rock because I'm a big whiskey drinking guy. So it was just a big ball that just sat in the middle of it.
One of these.
Oh,
there you go.
Is it clear, or is that you got it handcrafted, don't you?
Well, I got the.
Yeah, I know what he's gonna pull out.
That's a subtle flex right there.
I'll drink to that.
Oh goodness.
I come in here and immediately I'm calling that. There's no way. He goes, I got the ball here too, but that was a little clearer than my water. That's
you can get them on Amazon. They're just like it's a rubber mold, but it goes inside of a styrofoam base, and it basically creates what they call a directional freeze. So because it has a reservoir below, it slowly freezes from the top down and pushes all the gas down. So that's why there's no bubbles in it.
Now, I thought you were about to say that you had one of those $800 the weighted, because I've only seen, unless you're using better water, you got that just from the silicone and foam.
Cap, I'm on the same thing, Cap. I'm like, my water's different. My water's so different.
It might cost you $49 on Amazon.
Really? Okay, so what regular ice cubes in your house, are they cloudy?
Regular, yeah. All right, so
I gotta buy this now.
Yeah, I'm fucking mind blown right now.
So I have some that are square, but you see they've got.
I originally thought he was doing that and shaping it from the block to get online.
No, this is just.
Dude, that one looks. Is that the same one? That one looks clear.
Well, probably because my hand touched it. This would be like straight out of the bin, so it's got.
That looks beautiful.
Okay. Yep. I gotta find that.
Yep, you got a sale right there, dude.
I honestly think it's like around $50. And
Cap's face when you started saying that in general was like, oh, I seen it, and I was like, oh, he's excited.
Well, he's buying one. He was thinking the same thing I was thinking. I was like, why does that look so beautiful?
You don't understand, because I've been looking at these crazy expensive ice makers. And I can't even get a good photo.
Oh, are you talking about the ice makers that like TikTokers would throw in there and such?
Probably.
Language, not a problem?
No.
Okay.
Fuck, you didn't watch that with Clark. Just the clip. I tried not to do any clips that are too...
Cap, show that again. What was that?
So search for ice press.
Is that what it is? Do you have
ice? Yeah. Probably what you were thinking. So they make ice presses that are. Shayne, you are the man,
dude. What the hell is that?
Because all my ice cubes are cloudy. Anything like that I've tried has been cloudy.
Tanani crystal clear ice ball.
There you go.
And it. Wait a second.
I'm currently on.
Cap, do you have your Zoom? Or are you good?
Whoop. No, I do.
I'd seen the time and I was like, oh, man.
Good man. Yeah. I got to go yell at some people. I'll be back in 30 minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Crystal.
For work?
Okay, so I found one.
Does he have to derobe?
He probably just take the hat off. He works from home. He's in cybersecurity. And, yeah. So I think he had told me earlier, he's like, oh, I got a Zoom meeting, but I can hop on until 3:30. And then, if you guys are still going, I'll hop back on after, whenever it's done. All right. What are we mixing? Because if you want to get up at all and grab something and mix something special, because I know you had a whole spread there, just let us know,
All right. So I'm going to make an old fashioned.
All right.
But I'm going to make a hemp CBD oil old fashioned.
Travis is like, this man.
I've been on here I literally feel like I should have been off work right now, and I got on here, and this guy is just going crazy. He's taking Casa Tasa Azul to the face. He's just
Little simple sugar,
okay.
some hemp oil. This is a little stronger than I probably should be using,
But it's Wednesday.
it's Wednesday.
Cheers, boys.
Was that a flex right there, Bill? Is that what you just did?
And then we'll put some bitters.
This man is educating everyone right now.
Dude, I want to get better at making drinks. That's my only problem. Oh, you got a flame? Are you gonna toast the glass?
Oh no, wait! I'm forgetting the most important part here.
Yeah, don't forget that.
This guy would have had a wild drink if he.
Yeah.
Ugh. Syrup.
Yeah. What one are you drinking there? What was that? Buffalo? Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm real classy. I got me some Fireball.
Fireball.
I'm about to go downstairs and get Screwball. Fuck. Don't hate on Screw. That's my favorite, dude. Oh, there we go. Yep, there it is. This guy's mad.
This is a flex. This is a full flex, and I love it.
Dude, I want to drink that.
Yeah. Could you hand us both one through the screen somehow?
Well, so when you do that with the flame and everything, what like flavor are you doing with like I've
Well,
been...
it's essentially going to be it gives you, so this one is whiskey barrel oak.
Okay. And so that one just gives you that flavor with it, with doing that. I've seen a lot of drinkers on TikTok, which I know you hate it, but a lot of drinkers on TikTok, they do that with the burn and such. And I'm like, I've never known that was a real thing.
You got to put a little maraschino cherry on there.
You even got the fancy spoon and everything. I want to buy one of those just to stir it. I just use a normal spoon, and I feel like a freaking peasant every time I do it. I'm just like, all right, get this over with. I see everybody doing a little finger twirl with it, and it's so sweet and cool.
We're not done yet.
What the hell are you doing now, Shayne?
This is phenomenal. I'm going to have to watch this back like 5 times just to even understand what I need to do.
Dale's going to go to his wife and try and impress her. Be like, I'm going to make an old-fashioned. Be like, hold on a second, babe.
No, I just burned the house down. Now he's cutting stuff, so I'm going to chop my finger off.
Oh, God. Please, Lord have mercy. Let's not get that on video. Are you going to? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This guy knows his shit. Wow.
And then you gotta bend it back to like get the oil out. See it light up, so the oil like ignited. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Whoa.
Oh, now you just take it to the face, just all of it down, and it's over. All that for a good old gulp. How much is that?
Oh, you missed the greatest thing earlier. Also, he has a superpower. You weren't on here for that. He doesn't get hangovers, no matter what.
And so I didn't get hangovers when I was in college.
I got them in college. I stopped getting them when I was probably like 25 or 26, around that
Like
time.
he got bit by a Spider-Man type shit.
Yeah. I'm dead serious. Like, people don't believe me when I say it. And my wife was like, no, I didn't believe him either. But it's bullshit, because she wakes up and she can take like halfway through the day if we have like a really late night or something. She's like, yeah, I still don't feel right, babe. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll go do this. I'll go do that. And
You're tired of this shit. You're like, come on, rookie, you freshman, get together.
she'll literally like if we have like a bunch of people, like friends over that stay or something, she's like, yeah. She's like, it's just not fair. Like, I don't know whether I should be mad or impressed. Like, I used to be impressed, but now I think I just get mad.
I love that. I used to be extremely impressed with his talent, and now I'm laying in bed waiting after a long night, and I'm like, oh, I wish my man was here to cuddle me, and he was down too, but he's over there cleaning the whole damn house because he's energy.
He's a
I think you got
superhero.
energy off of it.
Well, and we're both like a super, like, that's why we're a really good match. We're both very compulsive with like cleaning and organizing and everything. Like, you look in our fridges and everything is like lined up. You look in cabinets. So I'll get up in the morning, like after having a night of drinking, and like anything that we went through, I'll like either go to the store, go somewhere, and like start filling it back up like a damn grocery store aisle.
You keep talking about all this stuff, but yet you would fit so well in TikTok because that is such a damn trend. It's unreal. There's literally videos of people that go back in after like a week and they're just like a little bit of what is like the little beads you take for like your washer dryer and stuff, and they just like take a little container and they fill it up, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Why don't you just leave the damn container next to it? What are you doing? Like you're taking a step and you're making two steps." You're just filling everything up, going through it while she's just down there snoring on the bed and everything. I love that for you, though.
I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, see, that's what I said. I was like, I don't know nothing about it. My wife's always trying to show me TikToks and send them to me. I'm like,
I hated it until I got it. Boys, stay strong because once you get it,
no, I got it, and I watched like 2 videos, and I was like, I'm good.
Well, the thing with TikTok is that you create your own algorithm. So once you start liking stuff, they'll feed you stuff that you like, so you have a consistent stuff that you like. And it's really funny because my buddy got called out because I was on the phone with him and his wife, and he goes,
he had a bunch of booty shaking stuff, didn't
he? He goes, "Travis, how come I have a bunch of girls shaking their butts and like?"
Shayne called it.
I'm like, Josh, you just called yourself, like, Josh, you're getting yourself in trouble. Your wife's right here. And he goes, "What?" And his wife knows all about it. He goes, "You realize it's all the stuff you're liking, right?" And he goes, "No, I don't like that stuff. No, I don't know what you're talking about. No." And I'm like, "Josh, you're an idiot, dude.
Not me."
That show was so good. But no, I came in here a great timing, actually, because I am a very big believer in this. And I believe you guys might have been talking about Ocho, I'd assume.
Yeah.
McDonald's, maybe. Do you believe in that? Do you believe in that whole thing of eating like crap and still being a great athlete? Or
no, that is purely a genetic defect, flaw, or superhuman ability.
Yeah, that's Chad's superpower.
Yeah. I mean, Chad played his whole career at probably 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
Yep. 6'2", I think.
Probably played around 190. Not a big guy, but muscular, but not big. 190. And I don't know if he ever went over or under that. No matter what he ate. And just because you can believe in that for yourself because you stay there, there's other people that can eat very similar. And I get it. He's running all this, but there is definitely science behind the nutrition you put in your body and the output that your body can do because of it, and the long-term effects and benefits, whether it's diabetes or, heart disease or other organs and all this crap that can happen. There's a reason why I gained weight after I stopped coaching or after I stopped playing. 1, I was less active. 2, I ate like shit. The eating like shit part probably played the biggest role because I didn't have a lot of time when I was coaching. So it was always comfort food. What was easy? What was fast? And even if I tried to work out, I still was it wasn't getting off. And to the point of 50 pounds, like I got up to like 250 pounds, and I'm not there now, but I played at like 198 to 200. And then occasionally I got up to 210 and then I get back down to 200. But I got up to 250, and it was like purely because I was eating convenience food and just not, I was, very sedentary. And you just see a guy like him who eats whatever they want. And I think everybody knows that genetics plays a role in it, like how people metabolize food, where it goes on their body, where they store fat, where they carry fat, all that kind of stuff. And it's a buzzkill. Can we change the subject?
Yeah, man.
I
got a good one, though.
Going into like a teacher mode of it. I'm like, all right, I'm learning all about this shit.
Not everyone is Ocho.
I was just going to say, I love cheeseburgers from Speedway, but I mean, you were trying to teach me about health class.
I grilled freaking smash burgers 2 nights ago.
Oh, I love it. Sorry about burning a buzzkill. I'm just gonna say I'm 160 pounds. I couldn't gain weight my whole life, and I eat. One of my favorite things growing up, every time, because I was a big baseball player, my dad gave me every hit I had. I got a 3/4 pound burger from Wendy's, and I would have like 2-3 hits in a game. I would eat them in the sitting. I wouldn't ever gain weight. I know Dale.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Dale's face. Dale's so mad that I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm the fat ass of the.
I just gained weight by you saying that.
Yeah, I gained 8 more pounds. You fucking asshole. Yeah, Shane, don't bring your guns out. It's not the same. It's not fair. I'm recording my garage. It's hot down here. That's the only reason I'm always in sleeveless shirt.
Down here.
It's because I'm fat and I need to cool off. And if I play a fan, it's going to cut into the audio. Trust me, it's not. It's not because I'm showing off any guns.
He's doing this for you guys.
Dale reminds.
You don't want me to just start sweating.
Dale reminds me of one of my best friends from Cincinnati that I who did not play ball. A guy named BD. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or know him, but
I don't think so.
A buddy of mine named BD. You remind me of him, so I keep seeing his face when I'm talking.
That's so funny.
But he's your buddy, right? So we're good.
It's good. Yeah, we're good.
Not like a guy you hate. This prick I didn't like. Every time I look at you, I want to punch that son of a bitch.
Punch it.
Just randomly sneaks in and be like, so why'd you talk to my wife? Like, what? I didn't do that.
That wasn't me. I did not. So you went to Virginia Tech.
Yes.
See, this is what I did, Travis. This is what we did with Clark. I would try to circle back for a little bit.
Dale's the one that we found our roles in just like 2 episodes in this podcast. Dale's just randomly going to be like, all right, so here we got on the notes right here. And I'm just going to be like, so you eat burgers? Like, what do you do? What are you drinking?
So I was tipped off by a friend who shall remain anonymous, which was also the same friend who already screwed me about the car and shoe collection you don't have. And that nearby Radford, which I think might be your hometown, which is a college, he said that was a spot, something about a girl he dated, and it has a 3-to-1 female to male ratio and was a spot to be. Do you know anything about that, or is that too incriminating?
Oh, I thought you were about to say I dated a girl that he dated.
No.
I was extremely.
He was just asking if you knew anything about Radford, the college.
Oh, yeah. So Radford University is not my hometown. I was born in Radford Hospital. Grew up in Pulaski County, like right across the river. Okay. Kind of like being Covington, Cincinnati, whatever.
Got you. So close.
Very close. But Radford University was probably a 10 or 15,000 size school, a nursing school, mostly nursing school. So yes, there were more females than males, and it was about 25, 30 minutes away from Blacksburg. So might have been a few times where he
said that women would literally fight over guys when he would go there and stuff. Like,
I don't know anything about that.
I plead the fifth. Everything you say.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
I love it.
What a hey, at least he got us something out of this one. He didn't give me nothing.
Yeah. So what happened with that? Because I'm like, you're going off. You're trying to double down on this one that somebody already didn't do good on you the first time. You're like, maybe this one's right.
He's a really good friend of mine. Okay.
No, he is correct. It was, it's a smaller school. Virginia Tech is a mostly engineering school. So, the history of engineering and agriculture, predominantly male. And then you have, maybe not so much in today's world, but to a degree, still more probably male dominated. And then, there's a little bit of a small veterinary school. There's a little bit of all the, the social, liberal arts and all that kind of stuff is all there, but probably 55-45 male women, maybe 50-50. Hell, I don't know. But Radford is definitely like.
Yeah, outbalanced, and you could tell. Yeah. I think that's. So whatever. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. We'll get, so Radford.
The party that every guy in college actually wants to go to is there instead of the one that they went to.
Well, that's what I have heard.
Yeah, allegedly
heard that.
The one girl that walks into that house, there's 25 guys there, like, finally. She's like, oh hell, I'm getting out of here.
How would guys
Mortal
act in that
Kombat.
situation, you know?
Oh, I've seen it. It's the funniest shit in the world. I've been at parties where they're bangers. Supposed to be like, because there's a couple big schools around here that party.
Yeah, but you know, like from a guy version first before you continue. So, you know, 20
I've
dudes
seen
hanging
it in the
out.
guys version. It's the funniest shit.
And
It's
then
like- it's
three
like-
girls show up to the party finally, and it's like, oh my
Pack of
god.
lions. It's a pack of lions
Yeah.
finally seeing prey for the first time.
But
that
I
they've been
just wonder
waiting
what
for
it's
for
the
2
reverse
hours.
is like. Like,
And I
what's the
watch it.
reverse
I'm
of
like,
that?
holy hell, these girls got to get
It's-
out of here. What the hell is happening?
It tends to be petty.
Oh, yeah, then the guys start one up each other and everything.
There's a difference between an estrogen pack and a testosterone pack. You know, like it's different.
I don't know. Like I have never been in around a estrogen pack that was like, that fat motherfucker right there looks fucking good. Sorry, Travis, went off the rails.
What?
I don't know.
So,
So,
you think somebody else? You think what?
so Shayne, you were all pro and Pro Bowl in 2005.
Dale's back to his own card now. He's go ahead.
Where is your jersey located?
My jersey?
Your Pro Bowl jersey.
Oh, my Pro Bowl jersey. It's actually in Cincinnati right now. It is that heirloom framing getting framed at this very moment.
Oh, you have to start recording with it right behind you like Clark did.
I mean,
That's the only thing
that's
Clark
my
had in
Pro
his
Bowl
room.
jersey,
That's
but my
all he had in
actual
his room.
jersey is right here.
Hey, look at,
God,
and this is my travel agent joke. Did you ever think of being a travel agent? Because you've played for so many teams and so many different.
dude, I didn't even realize you played for that many damn teams. Holy hell!
Dude, 10 different teams. It's on the notes, see? 10 different teams, some of them more than once.
And then here's the Virginia Tech wall.
This
So
man.
someone got the collections wrong. It's
Hold on, subtle flex. These are a couple of subtle flexes.
Okay, I don't know if anybody's asked.
But I absolutely love it.
I don't know if anybody's asked this one. You played on 10 different teams and everything of that nature. This is the Bengals podcast. You don't have to be favorited to the Bengals, but what was your favorite moment or team to play for? What year?
Or both. Like, you could have two different ones there with that.
Dabble with it.
You know, favorite moment in a game as far as like memorable experience was probably 2000 January of 2014. I had a game winner in the playoffs with New Orleans. So that's probably like the most memorable like pro moment with that, because you know all they had heard about all week was how Saints never won on the road, blah 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 blah. Cold weather, and it was cold. We were in Philadelphia, and you know we drove down the field. We kicked the field goal in the last play of the game, and it was it was a really cool feeling to have, especially on the road, because you get to truly experience the emotion of the entire stadium that hates you, and usually that's stronger than when they love you. So, you know, I've kicked game winners in home stadiums. I've kicked them in away stadiums, but for some reason, it's just more fun in an away stadium.
Get everybody to shut up.
Yeah, because you kind of have mind control, because, like, if you make it, everybody shuts the hell up.
Yeah, they're done.
Now, if you miss, then it gets really loud. But, you know, but as far like sentimentally, my favorite moment was probably in 2015 with Atlanta. So my father passed away on a Tuesday in November. And on Wednesday, my sister and I, or he passed away on Monday. On Wednesday, we're setting up funeral arrangements. And we're driving around and where my dad lived. And I got a call from my agent, and I was not on a team. So luckily, I was not playing at this time. And I got a call from my agent, and he said, hey, Atlanta's kicker just got hurt. They want to bring you in for a workout. I was like, hey, listen, like my father just passed away. I'm, getting his funeral lined up, all this stuff taken care of. I was like, if you tell them that as long as I can come work out tomorrow and then come back for my dad's funeral, I'll do it. And they were like, he's like, all right, let me ask them. Asked them, they said it was fine. So Thursday, which was Thanksgiving, I fly to Atlanta. I have a workout, me versus one other guy. I make every single kick I make. Like I made everything they lined me up to kick to make. And was just lights out, had tears in my eyes the whole time because all I'm thinking about was every time my dad and I were like working out as kids and when he pushed me and when he would work out with me and shag my balls and all these things. So I literally emotional the whole time. And I can tell this story now without like breaking down. I used to be always
Bro, you're getting me there.
Dude, I'm gonna stop asking fucking questions, man. Because I'm like,
that's twice.
I'm like, dude, like I just need to make funny statements and not ask questions. I'm about to hit the damn bottle.
No, I'm coming up on 5 years of losing my dad, and I'm sitting over here like I'm still not over it. And I was going to tell you, like, I'm so sorry for your loss because.
No, thank you, and I appreciate that.
You don't get over it. You don't.
No, well, I'm telling you right now, like my eyes are watering. I can tell it without it having to fall into this deep, gloomy place.
Yes,
that's healthy. That's real healthy. Nice.
And because I gave myself a chance to grieve when I had the time to do it, I was able to do it. But
you still don't forget about your dad.
Absolutely. So going through this moment, and I make all my kicks. I have no idea what the other guy did because I didn't even watch him kick, which normally most guys watch each other, slap each other, dap, and hey, good kick, whatever. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he's doing. It was a friend of mine. Like I knew the guy, but I didn't give a fuck what he was doing. My job was to go there, make kicks, and make my dad proud. And I walk off the field. I have no idea how this other guy did. He walks over to me and gives me a hug. Well, I just break down, I'm like tearing up, whatever. And, they bring a guy into the locker room that's like the guy that tells you like, hey, we're either going to keep you or we're going to send you back home, And I had no idea what they were going to do. And he walks up to me and he's like, hey, Shayne, come here. He was like, hey, we got you a flight to get back home. Your flight's in about 5 hours. And I was like, well, why so long? And he's like, well, you got to go get your equipment and get ready for practice. We have practice in in like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, shit. And like the coolest thing about that whole moment was they understood how I felt. And when I went and I got my equipment in Atlanta, I was sitting in my locker, Dan Quinn, which by the way, I did not know who he was, comes and sits at my locker beside me and puts his arm around me and like really like gives me like this warm feeling of like, I feel what you're feeling and I understand and I have empathy and it was this really cool moment. From the rest of that day on, like I had people throughout the entire organization, from the owner to the GM, everyone like walk up to me and say, hey, we're praying for you and your family. And then I
take a minute if you need to.
I had practice with the team. They flew me back home. I went and had Thanksgiving dinner with my mother and my sister. And the next morning, my truck was actually there because I was there because my father was terminally ill in a hospital. And so I had my vehicle there. So then the very next morning, like after Thanksgiving dinner, the very next morning after Thanksgiving dinner, I drove to Atlanta I drove to my where my dad lived. I went to the funeral and then straight from the funeral drove to Atlanta. And when I got there, they were just so accommodating to me and really took care of everything I needed for that time and ended up going, I forget who we played that day, but had like a couple field goals. And I just remember like walking out onto the field and going through pregame warm-up and I was numb and
it's like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah,
almost.
But then like when the game started, I was so used to compartmentalizing like everything that I I wasn't compartmentalizing. I was saying, like, my dad never got to watch a lot of my games because maybe they were on, on TV, or they weren't on TV or whatever. But and when he was sick, I wasn't on a team, so he couldn't watch me play. Well, now maybe he can watch me play. And I believe there's also a level of where does your faith put you as where you believe in certain things and all that. But it just gave me a comforting feeling to know that, like, my dad was in a lot of pain, and that now maybe he can watch me play, and he can know that when he was in hospice, and he kept telling me when he was in his deathbed, well, have you worked out today? Have you trained today? Where did you go kick? What did you do today? And I'm like, Dad, I'm here to see you. And he's like, no, I want you to go train. Like, you're not done yet. You're not done. And it meant so much to me to be able to, like, finish what he wanted me to finish. And it was after that season that I ended up retiring. And it was cool to know that I got to do what I told my dad I was going to do. So It was a really cool feeling for me.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a fucking beautiful story. And again, I am sorry for asking a question. I don't know what happened in the 45 minutes before I got in here, but I have asked 2 questions that have buzzkilled and made 2 grown men cry. Holy shit.
Man. You still have your dad, Travis?
I do.
You better call that man soon. Dude, y'all
are gonna make dark.
I'm telling you, man. My dad was my best friend. Hey. I got the same name as him. Like, and he hadn't spoken a couple days before he passed and stuff. And before he passed, he was at hospice. He looked up. I said, "I love you, Dad." And he looked up at me and said, "I love you too, son." Like, I'll never forget that. And I said, I didn't even deserve it. Like, my sister Kim took way more care of him. She's a nurse, and she was there the whole time he was sick with multiple myeloma. And I'm like,
I didn't put it all in there. He goes, fuck this. This story made me have to put the whole damn bottle I got in there.
Hey, I'm going to go check on my dog real quick, and I'll be right back.
Hey, just make sure that when you check on your dog, just wash your hands.
Yeah, I'm in my garage, so I can't do it.
What's the joke with that? What happened with that? Oh, God. What did I miss, dude? 45 minutes. He was texting our group, Shayne. It was such a good time. I come in here. I'm busting ass at work. I'm a mailman, so I'm sliding this mail in on mailboxes. I'm flying. I'm like, dude.
So while he's checking on his dog, it means he's going to the bathroom.
I love it. What the hell? That's funny. Because I was like, your dog? Where the hell? Is your dog making noises outside? What's going on? No, dude, but that was a beautiful story, and I don't want to say that I feel like I've given like a different vibe to this. Because
No.
I feel like it definitely hit a lot of realism because I haven't gotten. I just started. You guys have been probably having a great time for 45 minutes. It's like getting thrown in. I'm just like, how's everybody doing tonight?
Well, the thing I can say is that, my wife lost her mom to ALS. My wife lost her father to a heart attack very soon after that. So those are things that we're so fortunate that we had such strong relationships that we don't look back with any regret. So we can say the reason it hurts so much is because it was so great before. So we can be very thankful and grateful to have that. And I think it's healthy to have emotion. I think it's healthy to show your emotion and wear it on your sleeve when the time is right, obviously. But I don't find it to be a super sad thing. Like it's honestly the fact that I felt that way telling that story. I keep looking back and forth because I don't know where the camera is on my.
I love it, yeah.
But the fact that I can tell that story and get emotional, I don't find it as sad. I find it as to be honestly happy because to me, it's like I was so fortunate to have that relationship with my father that I don't feel that when I get emotional telling a story, whether I'm sober or having a drink or two or not, like it doesn't matter. I'm always going to feel that way. And I can try to fight off the emotion, but yet I'm proud that I feel that and I'll never be ashamed of it. And I know there are certain people that are like, oh, don't be a sis.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm actually proud to have that emotion because it means that I was proud of the way my father raised me and hope I can be that way one day.
Definitely. Two things on that. One, and I'll go real and then I'll go funny after. that is awesome to have that emotion and stuff. It makes it more alive than like past. Like it's not past, it's still current. Everything is with you. Wear it on your sleeve. I'm not a person to show emotion too much, except for anger. I've always told people I'm born angry, but I think that's the redhead in me. I don't know, but to have that, to be able to talk that, walk through that whole story, show emotion but still carry it. It was really cool to see that.
Before you get your comedy out, because I just want to say, like, I think the same way. Like, I'm off camera for a minute. I need a minute not being on camera.
I was going to say, no, the funny part is Cap has the comedy is Cap has no idea what he walked into right now from what happened prior to now.
We just got talking about that, our dads, and we miss them and stuff, and Shayne was telling him an incredible story about when he went to Atlanta and did a tryout when his dad passed. Like, but then it got me thinking about
y'all talking about that, but I'm glad I wasn't here because I would have been a mess talking about my dad. So
yeah, same. That's what happened to me.
I made two grown men cry. I didn't mean to. Yeah. I had to work. Yeah. I didn't know what happened prior.
This is all Travis, the comedian's fault.
It's my fault. I go. Okay. I told Shayne when
maybe if you had a soul, you would have done better.
Hey, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. I actually got a funny bit. It's
ginger on ginger crime right there.
In high school, on an April Fool's paper. I didn't know it was April Fool's Day. I didn't realize what happened and what the article was. On one of the articles, it says that gingers are a race, and it like described it's like, we've been discriminated against the sun for far too long. We need compensation for what we've been through. You get a lifetime of sunscreen. You get this. You get a trip to Florida. This and that. I read it and I thought it was real. I was excited. And lo and behold, no, we just don't have souls, and we're not recognized. We just get burnt all the damn time.
And if you notice, I can get burnt without even being in the sun. This stuff burns my face a little bit.
I've noticed that you're red. I just didn't know if, are you in Ohio? Are you in Florida? Where are you at? You can get burnt in Ohio.
Michigan. No, I did sit out on my porch and read a little bit the other day when it was really sunny, like in my face. So maybe it's a sunburn, but I think this has darkened as I've done this.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that again?
This is an old fashioned.
That's what it is. Fucking, you missed the cat. He did a whole ordeal.
Ooh, baller. He said he's new, but he's doing it right from the start. I love it. That attention to detail.
I may be new to drinking bourbon on the rocks or drinking it neat, but I'm not a rookie drinker. So I have been into like making drinks and doing stuff. So like my wife and I, every time we go somewhere and someone like makes this drink that she wants to make, or that we both just want to try the whole drink menu or whatever, we end up like coming home and like experimenting and figuring out like how to make all these things. So like I've got stuff over here to make a freaking pickle martini. I've got stuff over here to make, just drink tequila. I'll just do that. I don't have everything over here, but I brought all the fixings to make quite a few. My mirrors.
Yeah, he shaved that, and I'm like, I don't know what happened in the first 45 minutes. I don't know if he's like okay or not, but he's got a knife in his hand with an orange sliding it. I'm like, are we gonna see a finger go off tonight?
Yeah, this thing's sharp.
All right, what kind of knife?
And
it is a
Hinkles.
Z Willing Canron.
You don't even know.
It's
familiar.
It's a Hinkles derivative, I think.
Good quality stuff.
Hey Shayne, can I ask real quick if you got another 10 or 15 minutes still with us and stuff?
I ain't going anywhere. So
okay. Well, Bengals and Bourbon's getting off work, and he said about 10 or 15 minutes he could jump on for a little bit before he's got a house show.
I told him they can boot me for Matt to come in because he deserves it.
I told it. Dale was like, I don't know how long we're going to have. I was like, and I messaged Shayne last night. I go, watch, y'all think this is a game. He's going to be on here for 3.5 hours, and your ass is going to be trashed in the first hour like last episode.
Well, did your mascara run?
I guess I gotta go 3 hours and 45 minutes to beat Clark, right?
Hey.
Yeah, or at least 3 hours and 35.
I'm glad I came in late. Shit. end of that episode.
I'm back. I'm good. Sometimes if I cut my camera off, it's for a different reason.
What do you say, Dale?
Smoke a cigarette.
Oh, Dale! I swear I thought you were talking some wild shit right now, and I'm like,
I'm a teacher, man. I'm a teacher. I try not to like smoke on the camera and stuff. I'll drink.
So basically, what you're saying is, if that one of your students watches this podcast, they won't see you smoke, but they'll hear you say that you smoked.
Now they will, because you guys made me explain it.
Well, because
fucking pricks.
Last time you weren't talking about smoke. You were talking about putting somebody on a table. All right.
My wife.
Like 3 hours in, and I'm like, Dale, you're just going off the rails right now.
Well, it's Clark's fault.
I'm watching Cap's eyes over here.
So, Shayne, you started your career out after Virginia Tech with the Richmond Speed of the Arena Football League. How was it to kick in the Arena Football League?
It sucked. I'll be honest with you. No, it was actually fun, but the way that game even happened was, I don't even know if I hadn't even NFL training camp or anything hadn't even started yet. I don't know if the draft had even happened yet or not. I don't think it had. Maybe it did, because I did not get drafted. I did not even get signed on draft day as an undrafted free agent. But
wow.
So a buddy of mine who played and coached, he was the kicker and I guess he coached special teams or some shit. I don't know what he was doing. For the Richmond Speed, he got injured and he called me, and I just happened at the moment to be visiting my college girlfriend at the time who lived near Richmond, and he's like, "Hey, I got a favor to ask. I got hurt. Is there any way you can come in and play this week for me or blah, blah, blah?" And I was like, when he called me, I was actually out on the field kicking, working out at the moment. I was like, sure, why not? So I show up. I have one practice with the team, realized the snapper and holder, just guys who had never snapped and held before, and was like, oh, God, this is going to be fun. So we play one game. They make me the last guy introduced with the fire and the flames and shit, coming out, nice. The freaking kicker. Come on, bro.
Oh yeah, the spotlight's on you, baby.
Hold on, that's a subtle flex.
No.
You're the last guy out.
Wait, I'm not done with the story yet.
No. It was because I had just finished playing for Virginia Tech, which Richmond is a very stronghold Virginia Tech alumni place. So they were trying to use that as okay, we had just played for a national championship that year. We lost to Florida State, but we were really good that year. So that was their thing. It's hey, we just signed this new player. He played for Virginia Tech, blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, I think I missed everything but one PAT. I think I tried 2 field goals, missed them both, missed a couple PATs. My kickoffs were fine, either into the net or over the net or something like that. But it was it's hard because not just because the goalposts are narrower, but I was so used to snap, hold, kick being really fast in college, high level college, it's 1.27, 1.28, whatever it is. And in this league, you have to go slow because the snapper and holder aren't very good.
Don't know what the hell they're doing.
Don't know what they're doing. And they don't allow an outside rush or something. So you don't have to worry about someone blocking it off the edge. So really no one really tries to block the kicks. So you go really slow. Well, I was so used to going and even beyond that, my average career get-off time in my entire career was 1.27. I was so used to going at a faster speed that I was kicking the ball out of the freaking holder's hands before he could even get his finger on top of it. And it was oh.
Golly.
So then finally last one, I just slowed down and was all right, lean it that way, okay. Which is what it seemed like. It wasn't what I was doing.
But in your head it was, because you're so used to going so much faster.
So it was just so
not having the ball, and a professional kicker, a good kicker, is just not, you don't have it set and he just kicks that shit.
You just know, like when Clark snaps it and Kevin catches it and puts it down, the kicker knows it's gonna be where they expect it, and that's part of the whole trust circle that they have.
Yeah, which I think is huge. Like it's a
Dale.
whole unit.
Dale, I got a wild idea if they'd be willing to do it, but maybe sometime this summer, we all get together and just maybe 5-10 minute video. Let's see if the combo of Shayne, Kevin, and Clark can get us to successfully kick a field goal.
Oh God!
Like us coach you?
Virtual coaching. Because I've honestly,
my fat ass would have to be like the holder.
I almost want you to kick, but I can't touch my toes.
I said this last episode. I was a center in 6th grade football.
Oh, well, there's long snapper.
I'll snap that bitch.
Wait, you were a center or a long snapper?
Both.
Just a center.
No,
Oh,
I
you
did
did?
long snapper too.
Can you throw a football?
That's what Clark said. I couldn't.
Yeah. I used to play rugby in college as a little bullshit thing. So
oh, that's a subtle flex.
I was telling you that I could throw a football. God.
Well, I'm multi-talented. I
Ladies,
also played rugby in college.
Well, I could play rugby. No, but what
was your major in college?
It was criminal justice.
What was your minor?
I didn't graduate. Didn't care. As soon as I got a little farther into that, I was like, I'm here for a party in baseball, and that's all.
Well, a lot of smaller schools, I can speak for. I live 2 hours away from the stadium in Portsmouth, Ohio, and you don't really have minors, you know.
No, you had minors in the school that I was at.
You could if you wanted, but you didn't have
I can tell you that
I got recruited to play baseball there, but I didn't understand that I was going to a private Catholic school and it was extremely fucking expensive. And so I was just partying to baseball and what I thought it all was. And then I was $45,000 in debt, and I'm like, how the hell did this happen? All I drank was Natty Light.
You should have gone to BYU.
No, I didn't have the grades for it in college.
Aren't they like the best party school?
Pardon?
Aren't they like the best party school?
Dude, I barely had the grades to make it in high school sports. Nobody told me.
I'm being
important.
I'm being a smart ass.
It's clearly not the best party school, you jackass.
No,
you
the
didn't
best
pick
party
up on
school
that.
around me is there's a school, BGSU, and they get down.
Bowling Green State University.
Hey, my big ass had a scholarship in my little college and around here for soccer.
Hey, wait,
what?
Everybody's confused about that.
No.
I wasn't always so fat, you motherfuckers.
Captain, you said it. You said that out loud. That was disrespectful. I didn't say that.
I can just picture this absolute unit with the ball, and everybody's like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, no one.
He's trucking down the field. We go, no, this is.
I played football up till 7th grade, but I had no line, and I played quarterback, and I'm pretty sure I have CTE even from that up till 7th grade, from 3rd grade to 7th grade. So I was like, I got to switch sports. I can't do this anymore. And really, I just like basketball more than anything.
Do you know who Diego Maradona is?
Yeah.
So he wasn't always a super skinny guy.
Yeah.
Well,
I used to be skinnier.
I want to see Shayne light up a returner. I bet he could lower his shoulder right now.
I mean, look at his build. He could.
Let's
right now.
I'm just going to go ahead and do this. This is
actual flex.
A subtle flex. This is going to be a flex.
Flex.
Nice. Full on.
I love how we're pre-drinking before the flexes now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in my career I had 31 tackles, I think.
Oh.
But
in the NFL?
I do.
Oh my God!
I do have the NFL record for most tackles in a single season.
Hey,
Darren Simmons probably does not
Graham.
like that stat.
Well, unfortunately, that stat means that they were bringing them out of the end zone back then because we're kicking from the 30, right? So if it goes in 3 deep, 5 deep, 7 deep, the return or the coverage team was further back. So they had more time to set up their returns. They had 2 3-man wedges back then. It was a different world. So, and then you add in the Devin Hesters, the Josh Cribbs, the Leon Washingtons, these little guys who could, or not little, but these guys who could dart in between spaces, but also run people over as well. So when I had 11 tackles in one season, I think 3 or 4 of those tackles were Josh Cribbs in Cleveland.
That's funny.
And
Because he was about to house those sons of bitches.
well, yeah. And so deep into my career, I was like, I've never had one where, like, and I was not subtle flexing. I was like, no one's ever returned one on me. And then we are playing against Buffalo, and this is like 2005, maybe. I don't know what year it was.
Anybody else just hear that?
What?
Let me just flush the toilet.
No, my wife's upstairs blending something, making like a protein shake.
Oh, I was like, did I just hear a flush? What happened?
Did it just stop?
Continue.
Yeah, my wife's upstairs blending something. So anyway, so we're playing Buffalo. We kick off to them. They run like a reverse or something and get like 30, 40 yards. Somebody makes a tackle. It might have been me. I don't think it was. Then we kick off to them again. And Darren was always like, it's got to be outside the numbers. It's got to be outside the numbers. So I kicked off deep right, outside the numbers, like 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone from the 30. So like 73, 74-yard kick, like into the end zone.
72 yards.
Fake reverse, maybe. I don't know what it was. This guy comes running down the sideline, and like no one's touched him. And I go to like make my move and leverage him and use the sideline as my 12th defender, and I've got like my shoulders square. Everything's good. All of a sudden, boop, I get blocked. And this guy just goes untouched for a touchdown. And I was like, well.
Honestly, I would have been happy that I got blocked because, like, if it was you gave it up and you completely just whiffed and, like, got juked, you know what I mean? I think that would be worse. Like,
I took pride in the fact that I understood how to leverage and how to tackle.
Yes.
And the thing is like if I were to miss a tackle, more than likely, unless I'm diving and I like miss their shoestring, that's different. But like being in position and missing a tackle means you usually make the return a redirect, and that's your whole goal. If you don't make the tackle, make them change direction. So what happens is that the guys that are catching up to you or are creating the angles are able to come and be your support. So you want to either tackle them or create a change of direction that brings them back to where your support's coming from. And in this moment, I got blocked, so I couldn't do any of that, and that guy just went untouched.
Hey, that's not your fault. You did everything you could.
I mean, I guess I could have kicked it out of the back of the end zone, maybe.
I got a question for you. You hold yourself really true and powerful to your tackling ability here. There's another person that is a kicker that played for the Colts. That
you're not going to bring him. I'm going to start doing a fucking every time you bring up fucking Pat McAfee. I'm going to fucking have to like, smoke crack. I'm going to have to buy crack and smoke some of that for the first time.
Did the whole interview thing with him, and he's talking about tackling. Pat was known for tackling as well as kicking. Go ahead. On the whole fireball while I ask this question. Who do you think tackles better, you or Pat?
I don't want to compare us. I feel like the fact that I've coached tackling in special teams and even defensive drills, and as a coach, and when I played, like we did a lot of tackling drills, and I always volunteered to do tackling drills so I knew how to do them. So that even if I didn't do it perfect, I still understood certain things. I think Pat ended up being in position to make some really good sideline tackles where he could throw his weight into them. And
look better.
So they look good. Now, I'm not trying to say this in a way that like who was a better tackler, but like I took pride in the fact that I practiced it and I felt like I was good at it. Now, that doesn't mean I was better or worse. I'm just saying I felt like in my mind I had prepared enough to be the best kicker at it.
So you were driving shoulder on the opponent and he was just throwing body.
No, maybe he prepared just as much as me and was just as good or better. Maybe he was.
I've seen Pat just run like like a madman at people and just throw his body at them to get him out of the sideline. There was a big eruption.
Oh, Pat McAfee's a fucking pussy. If he wants to debate that, he can come on my fucking show and talk to me about it.
Dale,
Fucking pussy.
I didn't say
Have
that.
me on your show, Pat, you fucking pussy. No,
Dale, see, this
I was
is
going to another question, so I just was like, I'm going to just say some
So,
shit.
I wasn't saying all that.
Question, Dale.
No, that was for me, not Shayne Graham, for the record.
Yeah, Dale.
Hey, Dale, how
I'm
good
just
are you
asking a
sharing,
simple question. You're
sharing
out here
video?
threatening this man almost. My God.
I'm not, Cap. I'm not good at any of
Oh.
this, and that's why, like Travis, I got to teach Travis how to use the StreamYard platform so he can start doing all this more.
Who's
So-
gonna beat Dale? Is that what you, Dale? You
So
just want
Shane was talking about it. If you look on YouTube, Terrence McGee, Buffalo Bills highlights at 2:55 into the video is where it starts that kickoff return.
Does anybody just notice that Shane is? Shane, you have a drink in front of you, Shane. Why? Cap is trying to say knowledge, and Shane.
I heard
No.
Terrence McGee. There's the video. He found it. I was paying attention.
Yeah, but I can't
Yeah.
play it because I'm terrible at this stuff. My question was going to be, after I shit talk Pat McAfee, even though I like Pat McAfee,
You told me you're going to ask a question involving Pat McAfee after you just
No.
shit talk Pat McAfee.
No, it's about bourbon because I'm getting ready to bring Matt on because he said he's joining. I don't know if he's ever done this, so I'm getting ready to help him if he hasn't, so we can bring him on.